Of course I'm muted. It's like a Zoom meeting. It's like Zoom in 2020. What's up, Alexis? Hello, hello.
Hey.
What's happening?
Pretty
How was your Friday?
good. Got to sleep in, which is always
So
nice.
important. Get a couple extra Z's.
Yeah, caught some extra Z's.
Welcome, everybody. We got some folks already in the chat. Welcome to Starter Bench Live. It's me and Alexis, Matt and Alexis, your two true blue Californians. We out here represent. Yeah. LA natives and transients coming here, showing our love for the things that are blue. Only across the pond in London, West London, where our hearts remain true. I don't think I've ever asked you this, or maybe I've asked you once, but like, was there a specific thing that, like, a player specifically that drew you to Chelsea?
I would say Drogba, but it's because
Okay.
my dad was a fan,
I
and my
remember
dad,
it was your dad.
yeah, he didn't know much about football.
Yeah.
Just started following along, and then I just started following the team young because of him. And then as I got older, that's when I really, dove in more.
It really absorbed it. Yeah. I would.
Drogba, I think it was fitting for me because I'm a striker. So growing up, that was also kind of my style of like I kind of just bang in goals. So it was cool seeing someone like Drogba
Yeah.
um, for me as a player growing up.
You already know Drogba is my top of tops. So it,
Yeah.
it is it is interesting to see and to ask around, especially with Black folks, like the
Yeah.
influence of that kind of play. Like, even when we have like conversations, and I've had conversations recently about, like, legacy of a striker, and Drogba didn't score that many goals, but he scored almost every goal in a final. And the legacy that carries over Africa and over, into the Americas and the diaspora. It's dope.
And
Anyway.
he's on like the hall of he's on like Chelsea's Hall of Fame when you go to Stamford Bridge, like on the walls, it's got like all the people.
Oh
He's
yeah.
there, and I think he's amongst Chelsea's top goal scorers of all time.
Yeah, definitely under Super Frank and a couple other. He's probably like top 3 or 4.
Yeah.
DDA, that's our guy. All
Yeah,
right.
because they just released that Palmer, I think, is like already number 9
He's
or
number
something.
9. Like, he just jumped. Shoot, it was a name. I want to say it was like Anelka or somebody, but it was something. Yeah.
Like 39 goals, which if this is only your second season, you that's pretty good trajectory.
Cole's on the way. He did his thing. I mean, you start to think about it, and he's had 2 15-plus season goals.
Yeah, I guess it's interesting because I think when we're thinking of goal scoring, we're expecting Erling Haaland's type
Holland,
of goals
for sure.
versus we are not thinking about like the sneaky goals that just like, oh yeah, I guess that little goal that was a goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're just thinking, yeah.
You're like, yeah, he scored these. He got those clutch PKs, all
Yeah.
of that stuff. All of that stuff counts. Well,
Mhm.
welcome in. We got a lot to talk about. Again, for those who are just joining us or who've never joined us before, this is Starter Bench, a live Chelsea-themed interactive show where you can join us and scan that QR code or check the instructions below to jump in and participate in live surveys. We're going to talk about the team. We're going to talk about, we have some fun survey questions. And then, as always, we pick a lineup that we want to see. We play Newcastle tomorrow, so we're going to see how that goes. But we also talk about some topics. And what are our topics today?
Yeah, let's get into it. So ahead of Chelsea versus Newcastle, we want to update you guys with some transfer rumors.
Hearing a lot of rumors.
January's around the corner.
Yep.
And then we kind of wanted to talk about our position. Like, how do we keep winning? Is this tactics? Is this our player selection? Is it a little bit of both? We'll talk into that a bit more. And then we've got some rumors about Maresca potentially being linked with City. So we'll talk about that as well because he made some comments regarding Chelsea that we can talk about.
Yeah, we haven't talked about it. It was a couple games ago now, and Maresca was. It's weird. Like, we have these great times of form. We have these times where we beat these huge teams,
Yeah.
and then we'll lose to some teams, and then it's kind of like, is Maresca's job at risk? I think you even said, like, you might be good to start looking at some new heads. We'll definitely get into that a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's an interesting kind of back and forth with this team. You know what I mean?
For sure. But let's definitely talk about Chelsea versus Everton.
Let's go back.
That was
Absolutely.
good.
We
I
got 2
highlighted
wins, and I
some
don't want to hear any
players.
crap about it being Everton mid-table and then Cardiff midweek. Like we got our swag back, and it was a good game.
Yeah, I'll start with there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players I want to actually highlight.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think this goes into play of like, how do we keep winning? And I think these 6 players had a nice effect. And I might as well add this prior to talking about these 6 players. Neto and Garnacho are our best attackers this season.
Really?
Neto's got 6 goals.
I was with you with Neto. I'm still on the fence about Garnacho.
Garnacho's got 4 goals and 2 assists.
Okay. So
And
just GA only. These are our highest performers.
GA only, and Neto has been involved in more Premier League goals than any Chelsea player.
Wow.
I know, which is and I love it. And I highlighted something about Neto. I thought it was a wonderful assist, but his ability to dribble so tightly to his feet is underrated. Like I don't think people are seeing how direct he is when he dribbles, but how tight that is, and he chooses the moment when to burst past, and his pace is just ridiculous. I think he's such an asset for us.
Yeah, we talk about it, how he's kind of our consistent and our consummate senior player, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with you, and maybe I don't give him enough credit, because a lot of the times I'm willing to sacrifice him to see some sparks in Estevao, or I'm willing to sacrifice him to get a little Gittins or Garnacho over there on the left. But you're right. Like, he's starting for Portugal for a reason. He's come really into his own.
Underrated. His ability, like I was watching it within the assist, and you just see like how tight the ball is to his feet, and that's a technical thing. So I think technically he looked fantastic.
Speed is never in doubt.
Yeah.
And his willingness to just continue is always there. Yeah. And he balled out against Everton for sure.
Yeah. And Garnacho, I actually wanted to bring him up as well in the Everton game. I think he made up for it in the Cardiff game, but he had loads of opportunities and chances created, which I think is refreshing to see, especially when we've been coming from these games lacking creativity. Garnacho had a ton of big chances and opportunity, but he had 4 big chances missed.
I'm talking about huge, not just big, Alexis. Like, you literally pick the keeper off. And I know it's a bang bang play. We've all done it. Shoot, I've got videos online of me kicking the ball every which way. Yeah. But come on, bro.
I know, but this is where he shows his quality in the Cardiff game, putting those chances away. So I look at this as like, whoa, you missed those. You need to get back on the pitch and work on these finishing. And then in Cardiff being like, oh, okay. All right. You handled that area. Let's continue this. But I think I just appreciated the fact that we had those opportunities. The Everton game, just notes, I put that it was electric. Like, there were just tons of triangle passes, wall passes, and I just felt like we finally got that energy back.
Yeah, we were knocking it. We've been looking tired through in November into December, and it seemed like we were serious. Now, and I've got our lineup up here.
Yeah. I was also seeing that, like, the changes we made. So having Fofana and Chalobah versus Badiashile.
Yes.
Garnacho versus Gittins.
Yep.
Gusto versus Achimpong, which, again, we know Achimpong's great, but given the fact that Caicedo was gone and having Palmer over Caicedo, like, it just finally felt like we had some chemistry defensively.
Yeah, I hear you. It was Chalobah had still some interesting touches in there, but again, so strong.
Carried.
Yeah, exactly.
And which is
so strong of Fofana to do that. And I'm like, I'm happy that we're seeing these performances now coming out. Like, before, I was kind of like, is Fofana gonna be somebody who's gonna be a starter? Like, should it be Chalobah and Achimpong and that? What's your thought on Josh for that matter? Like, where would he slot?
Okay, I think, which is funny because I also saw some links to potentially other squads are looking into Josh, like Man City and things like that, because there's no denying he's got talent. I think with Maresca, I I think he kind of wants that seniority, I guess. I feel like this is just a matter of him being young.
Yeah.
But Fofana, I thought did fantastic. Obviously, he was a part of that goal for it to get to Palmer.
Yep.
His stats, 97% pass accuracy, 11 tackles won, 3 interceptions, 3 blocks, 6 duels won. And I just loved like, you know, the days of someone like Rudiger's personality of like, instigating, interrogating this and that. I loved Fofana after a tackle, just like kind of being like, yeah, I did that.
Nothing big.
And I love that. And I think that personality we need in our defense, honestly.
Yeah.
So that was refreshing to see, and to see his ball carrying ability to get it to Gusto, and to track back on defense. I thought he was solid.
Yeah, he seemed like he was running things well. I didn't feel like Everton. There were some moments where Everton kind of got back into the game. Even how Everton started was like,
I think Everton played well.
Yeah, they played well, right?
And I think that was the good part about this was like, oh, okay, we're playing an Everton team that's top of the table.
Yes.
And we performed well. We played well, but I think they played well too. But I think we ended up having the better chances.
What about Enzo Fernandez? He's always on
my gosh.
Him in that 6.
Okay.
Yeah, give me that.
So hear me out. I personally felt like, I'm like, oh my gosh, this dude looks tired. He just doesn't look fit. Now, so that everyone can put this into perspective of where he lies, he's got the 3rd most minutes this season, comparable to Declan Rice. He's played 1,092 minutes.
Yeah.
So I think this is just, I don't necessarily want to say poor form. I think this is overuse, if I'm being honest. And I think when that happens, though, Maresca does have to make that sub earlier for him, or just simply not start him, because to start Enzo, he has to be in form. He's not someone who's gonna get into the game. He's just either got to be on it.
He's either got it or doesn't got it for that game.
Yeah.
I am trying to give Enzo grace in that way, because I agree with you. I do think we use him a lot. We depend on him a lot. And in games where, games like Everton, where the opponent's a little weaker, but we have to be sharp, I would want to see more. But it's in games where we're missing Cole Palmer, and those where he has to go 10 and he steps up, then I'm like, man, like Enzo, like, why can't we get this Enzo? And so, to your point, but also like to add on to it, it's like he's being played a lot, but he's also not in any kind of set position or set role.
True.
Right?
So having a flop between those two, you're gonna see a different product.
You'll see different sides. And that Enzo bombing forward, that number 8 Enzo is probably the best Enzo. And he works the best in maybe a 3 that's not that diamond form, without a 10, right? A midfield 3 that maybe has like 1 deep lying and kind of 2 8s, I think he would be perfect in, kind of like that Pogba role when he played at Juventus. Again, completely different players, but Enzo's ability to play balls, we know he can pass. He does give the ball away a lot, but we know he can pass and play risky balls that work out. And we know he can bomb forward into the box. Those are his best attributes to me. Him trying to control pace of the game and control tempo. Like, it's not worth it for him to be in those positions for me, because
hear me out. Yes, I would agree with that. However, I do think when Palmer was gone, I thought Enzo played fantastic within that 10.
Yeah.
But so when we'll talk about tactics later, I want to talk about Gusto. I don't think we brought him up. Absolutely brilliant this last game.
Yeah.
And it's really nice to see him in form, because I thought he was in form under Pochettino. And I don't think we saw that last season. So this was nice to see. When we think about those passes being played from that part of the field that typically Enzo would play, we actually saw Gusto playing some of those passes this past game.
Yeah.
So it's like, if that's the case, then we don't need Enzo that deep, because Maresca's trying to play that style. But
that inverted winger, kind of have Gusto. Yeah.
But I thought it was a great assist and a great goal. And I think Gusto showed he's an asset when inverted.
Yeah.
Which was interesting, which is an interesting take, because I don't know how.
You don't like that.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel, but I'm trying to wake up and understand modern football a little bit
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
But I thought he was great. And then lastly, Palmer. I
Oh
think
my
he had
God.
tons of swagger and confidence on that goal.
Yeah. I think one thing I was a little worried about with Cole coming back is how long it would take him to catch form. And I almost forget, because Cole is not just so athletically gifted, even though he's quick and he's got some athletic abilities, but it's not like, all right, once he comes back, he's going to run down the defense. You know what I mean? It's like once he comes back, he's going to use his brain.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, like it almost like you forget about it.
Mhm.
And then especially on that goal, that first of all, he was just up for it. You know, he gave some balls away early on, but
Yeah.
he was knocking the ball. You could see he was up for it. And again, you know, we've seen it, that point where he tells Fofana, give it to Gusto. He was like pointing at him before
Yeah.
Fofana even looked his head up. Like, we knew what was happening. And the second the ball moves, he makes his run. Like, they knew that was that triangle pass you're talking about. Like, they knew exactly what was going on. So and the finish was undeniable. Had it been any other player,
Yeah.
there might have even been a question about the finish, but the only
Yeah.
question was, can Gusto get it and play that ball into the right area for Cole Palmer to get onto it at the right time? That was it. And he was there. So it's so good to see him back. It's so good to see him back and scoring goals.
And confident for sure. I think seeing that goal and seeing him like point to West and things like that, I guess shows us what we do miss when he's not on the field.
Yeah.
Is just that little bit of bit of patience of like
patience,
not
IQ, right?
Yeah.
Tempo. Like he changes the
Tempo,
game by
yeah.
changing the tempo, and
For
like
sure.
that stuff is underrated in the world of football. So yeah, I was excited to see that. Obviously, Cardiff was a game that was, you know, we weren't we weren't expecting anything but a win.
Finally felt like, all right, Maresca, this is what it looks like, how you did last year to play your second team and then play your main people.
This is what you should rotate. This should be your actual
This is how we perceived rotating to be last year.
Yeah.
So this is why us as fans have been very confused with your rotations this year, because last year it was pretty simple. We had our A team, we had our B team.
Yeah.
But this year, the substitutions really haven't made sense. So it felt like seeing this Cardiff game was like, okay, all right, Maresca, it looks like you're finally back to sticking with one side for these teams.
Yeah.
And this side in the Premier League.
Definitely. And to shout out some people, I thought, you know, we haven't talked a lot lately, but we've been interested to see Buonanotte get back in there. I thought he did okay, you know, especially for not having played.
Yeah, and he got that. He assisted that first goal to Garnacho.
He got his assist. Yeah, that was good. Josh got back into the fold. Happy to see that. Jamie Gittins, where are you with him?
I think
he should be playing in the Carabao Cup.
Basically. Exactly. Those are the games he's going to need his minutes to get that confidence up. But I don't think throwing him in our Premier League games to start, I don't really think that makes sense.
Mark Guiu, where are you with him?
I mean, well, Delap's still injured. That's the thing. The thing is, Mark Guiu, he just provides the press. Like, we know what we're going to get from him. We know that with our strikers right now, if we're putting Mark Guiu, we're not expecting him to score. We're just expecting him to help with our press.
Yeah.
So, depends on the game, but at the end of the day, for right now, it looks like I would just rather have Pedro up top for now.
Yeah, I want Pedro up top. We have an opportunity. We're going to see this weekend whether we play Crystal Palace in the semifinals or Arsenal, so that'll be interesting. Yeah. But again, just another competition that we're in the semifinals of. That's what Maresca's been trying to tell the press and tell everybody too. Like, it's good. Midfield, Santos, obviously Caicedo's able to get back in for a little bit. Like we said, Enzo's a little tired. Where Reece James has been featuring in the midfield. Where are you at? And this kind of can like bleed now into our talk about rumors. Where are you at with our midfield personally? And then we can talk about how that kind of fits with transfer rumors flying.
So now that I've seen Maresca's idea of what he thinks managing players looks like, then I think it would be
We just got to understand the manager first before we
Well,
understand.
if this is what he thinks managing players is them not playing every minute of each game, this and that. I mean, me personally, I would rather rather than two 90s and 190 out, I would rather like all 60s or something like that. You know, that's my idea when I'm thinking of that, because I think not having them on entirely, I don't know how realistic that is, especially when you look at other teams like Arsenal or Man City. Like,
Yeah,
I just don't know how realistic that is and why we are the exemption for that.
right.
Like, I know these other teams have had squad injuries as well too. So that's why, like, this idea of managing them, meaning that they just don't play at all, I'm like, I would rather 60 and then
Yeah.
one impact player or something like that.
Get Reece James a 60. I would say Romeo Lavia, but we did try to get him just, 45,
Yeah, he just
60,
seems to
and
have
he's
issues.
just injured. Yeah.
Well, with that said, it's like if we're thinking of transfers, which also crazy stat that somehow we have, we're the us and Arsenal have the top clean sheets, which I
The
think
defense is supreme. With
which
our
I
center
think is an
backs, we have
attest
the most
to
clean
our
sheets.
keeper, not necessarily our defense.
Facts. Big
Yeah,
shout out to
versus
Robert
with
Sanchez.
Arsenal, I think it's 50-50, meaning their defense and their keeper. Versus for us, I think it's more 75-25, our keeper.
Definitely.
versus
And
their defense.
maybe even 60-40 for Arsenal, because their center backs are top. And
Right,
even
right.
their backup center backs were top. And we're starting
Right.
to see a dip in their form as they get those injuries. But shout out Robert Sanchez. And also, I will say, and this is no real dig to Jorgensen, but watching Jorgensen in the Carabao Cup and kind of comparing that in my head to Sanchez, it did feel a little shifty. And he got scored on, and he gave the ball away. He kicked the ball out of bounds a couple of times. So
yeah, I mean, he's only probably played like 2-3 games this
hasn't
season.
played a lot. But again, as a keeper, unfortunately, your position is once you're called, you have to come in and be that guy.
And Sanchez has clearly improved. Like he has to have been working on something within the training grounds with his distribution and stuff and his own staff, because he's just improved with his decision making, which was really the issue. Which was the issue. We didn't really have a problem with any of his saves. We had a problem with his distribution, which I think last season, this is the manager's new style. But no, it seems like he's got it down right now.
Yeah. Bob Sanchez, I'm gonna keep following. Bald Bob, keep doing your thing. Shout out you. No, he's showing it a little bit.
So with that said, it's like if this is Maresca's idea of what managing looks like, then I think we could definitely benefit from someone like Mainu or Wharton. Wharton's fantastic. I can't see him leaving Palace mid-season. I can't see that. Versus Mainu, I can definitely see that because he's been frustrated with Amra and
he hasn't been playing.
Yeah.
He hasn't been playing, and he's a baller. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wharton and Mainu are the two top in most recent thoughts in transfer news. Just because we need to shore up our midfield. We have our best right back playing in the midfield. He's balling, by the way, but it doesn't seem right. We need to get.
Well, I don't think that. I genuinely think Maresca said this early on that he sees Reece as a midfielder. So I don't think this is a lack of having
depth.
Depth. I think this is his choice and where he sees Reece.
Yeah.
Like I don't say we get another right back, or say we get another midfielder. I don't think he's pushing Reece right back. You
think if we play the PSGs, the Barças of the world, even the Evertons, if we got injuries, we're gonna still see Reece feature in the midfield because he can do that job.
That Maresca, he said that early in the season that he sees Reece as a midfielder.
Yeah.
And I think Reece does fantastic there. And I think it's a great opportunity for him as a player, as a footballer to change the game, in all honesty. By him being able to play this midfield role as well as he can easily hop back to right back, I think this is really good for his game and his role as a footballer, in all honesty. And I think Maresca's doing this by choice, not because lack of depth.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people.
I like Reece in the middle.
Right,
I just want to have a secure across the board team. You know what I mean? I just want to have everybody's got their roles, their positions. I don't mind Reece kind of coming in and filling in for those big games or big important moments. But again, Reece started against Everton. Obviously, we were missing Caicedo as well, but it is just something to look at.
I definitely feel like it's a choice. Like I don't think it's a lack of positions.
Yeah, big facts.
But
One time, I want to shout out.
Go for it.
Just a new supporter tapping in the chat. Ing Richard Gallos from Uganda. What's up? I just want to let you know that this is Starter Bench. It's interactive. So if you have your phone, look, I have my phone right here. You can scan this QR code, or you can just follow the instructions at the bottom and open up and come participate in our survey. We're going to be talking about transfer rumors right now, and then we're going to shift to Maresca. We're going to talk about Chelsea in general. I see he's got a lot of thoughts. He says Chelsea should sign Kobe Mainu, which
I think that could be good. It's just like, I mean, we've seen with Man United in the past, like some of these players just need to be let go. Like Amaran runs a strict program. He runs a strict program on how he wants to do things. And if you don't fit in, you're not playing. So my thing is, Kobe Mainu, obviously he's a talent. He was Young Player of the Year with Cole Palmer in the 23-24 campaign.
Right.
He's obviously a talent.
He's a baller.
Yeah, for sure. I think he could work really well for us, especially when a Caicedo, when a Enzo needs rest.
And so it's that win that is the only problem with him as a signing for me, because I do think it's that win that you're talking about, because the thought process is he's a starter. He's only 19, 20 years old max. And he started for Man United in key games in previous seasons. I do think he's got the talent of Lavia, probably more talented going forward, a little less talented defensively sound. I want Lavia. Like, don't get me wrong. Like Lavia, I've seen only 2 games where Lavia and Caicedo featured, but those 2 games have been some of the best games I've ever watched with that field. So there's a thought process, but I guess my problem is Kobe, who's, maybe going to cost 40 million. We'll see, whatever. One, most likely not getting him in January for sure. But 2, would we be willing to spend the money to bring in a player, and would he be willing to come if he's not sure to starting spot? We've already heard reports, and their thought process around the world is that Caicedo and Enzo are the best center midfield pairing in Europe. You know what I mean? Like, what does Kobe think he's going to do coming in? So I would love him, but like we're not in the business of kind of having these luxury players. We're not a Liverpool who's got an Isak and Ekitike. That's my problem with Kobe.
Yeah, but right now with Kobe's form, is he going to be viewed as that luxury?
As that guy. That's true.
That's how we feel. But based on the fact, I mean, you've only played 2 seasons for Man United.
And he's not played this season. I mean, he's probably started once and maybe featured 3 or 4 times. Yeah. It's really about your form, I think. Yeah, for sure.
So for him, you're right, especially with our directors, is this something that we're going to do? Likely not within this, but it would be nice to have that extra player for rest for our midfielders. But at the end of the day, the board's probably like, well, we have Santos. Well, we have,
we have Estigo, who's still, who went surgery. We still got to wait on him. Yeah, we've got a lot of players.
As much as there's rumors, I really can't see us going for anybody just because of our directors. They don't. Yeah.
Directors aside, though, if Amaran, keep Kobe Mainu on the bench, keep him in jail, because maybe that makes it a better sell for us. He's young enough, and like you said, if he's not in form and we can get him and we can squeeze him out for a steal, that would be dope. Yeah. Let me mention some of the other ones that are just like, again, Wharton and Kobe are some of the newest thoughts. There was a thought about Thiago Silva. He's done with Fluminense. The Brazilian league is really interesting to me. It feels like they play all year, but it actually has finally come to an end. And he's announced that he's done playing with Fluminense. So, and he wants to play for Brazil in the World Cup. So he needs a team in Europe, preferably, that would be playing this latter half of the year. Thiago Silva, would you want him back in your club?
I think it would be great to have him back, but he's getting so old.
He is, but he balled out. He balled out in the Club World Cup this past
But also, I think it would be great to have him back, but honestly, he did not seem too fond of Chelsea and how we Yeah,
Yeah,
and Maresca and how we're doing things now. I know his wife even like outbursted, like, this is not our club, this and that. And I
yeah,
think in general, as a Chelsea community, we have to recognize this change in ownership, all of these things, like it's not gonna look the same right now, probably for some time.
yeah.
So to outburst like that, saying, this just isn't Chelsea, this isn't that club. Yeah, it isn't. And we're rebuilding. This is rebuilding right now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Another one I want to shout out is obviously we heard of Morgan Rogers and Mark Gahey. That was much earlier this year and
Mhm,
even in
mhm.
this past summer. Could possibly still be. I see nothing from Morgan Rogers, to be honest, and I think even our sites from the board perspective has fallen off. But Mark Gahey, again, another center back, proven in the Premier League, looking to leave. He was looking at Liverpool the most. Could that be a possibility? Would you be about that? Again, in the future with Fofana and Lavia, hopefully healthy next year, would
With
you?
Fofana and Levi,
And Levi, I'm sorry, not Lavia. Yeah, yeah,
with
Levi.
Fofana and Levi, I'm actually okay.
Ah,
I'm
interesting. No
actually
center back
okay
needed.
because, like, again, I mean, I guess Mark Gay would be a senior center back. He's been a little bit out of form lately as well.
Yeah,
Um, no,
maybe,
yeah,
maybe.
maybe.
Okay, and
But
last one. What about?
I think really what we need to see right now is consistency from Maresca's lineup with our defense so that we can really figure out the holes.
Right.
The holes. Because I think the holes were a matter of the pairings and
Yeah.
things like that. So it's like now that Wes is fit, I think we need to see
We'll
some
never see Tosin and Badiashile or Tosin and Chalaba again.
right, right.
It's
So that
okay
is
to
our
go
hope.
Tosin and Fofana, maybe
That's our hope
Badiashile.
as fans that we can see some consistency in the back line so we can really see where our holes are. And I
Yeah.
think that last game, against Everton was nice to see these changes and kind of seeing, oh, okay, this is where the hole was. This is where the issue was.
Yeah. It's good to see them plugged. It's just annoying when it kind of shifts back, or if we shift back to
Yeah.
having to play a Chalaba
Yeah.
and Badiashile at the same time, and then see something. So real quick, just to finish off this transfer rumor thought process, I did like a little survey.
Mhm.
Endrick is one other we didn't talk about, who's still kind of in the ethos, but most likely he'd be going to Lyon. Real Madrid have put in in the contract proposed clause that would see Endrick needing to play a certain amount of games for them to put him on loan. I could not see him being forced to play games for us, even though we're still trying to figure out our striker. But if that were the case, would you take Endrick as a striker
I
option?
don't think so because for me, I think I'm content with the fact that our goals are coming from our wingers this season. I think I'm content with that in the sense of like, all right, I guess I won't put unrealistic expectations on our strikers right now with Delat being unhealthy, with Zhao, I think
Not being really a striker.
I think,
Yeah.
being inconsistent.
Yeah.
I think I'm comfortable, especially now that Cole's back, with most of our goals coming from our winger or Cole in the middle. So I'm not too, I don't think him as a striker would help us this season, in
Interesting.
my opinion.
I just think he's got a lot of talent. I'm a fan more than anything, so I think it's more just one of those things of, man, if like every time I see him feature for Real Madrid, which he's only done once this season, or maybe now twice, he comes on and he looks like a striker, and he looks like somebody he's willing to take the responsibility on. Like half of being a striker is just taking responsibility, like making the decision and making it final, whether you shoot it into row Z or whether you put it on target, like
Yeah.
you just do it. And I appreciate that about him. And with our striker woes, I think it possibly could be helpful, but I'm with you. It just doesn't seem realistic.
It's not a step forward, in my opinion. And if we're
Yeah,
not going to take a step forward, then let's not just mess with anything, if I'm
yeah,
being honest.
I
If
hear
this
you.
isn't going to be an improvement, then let's just keep it how it is.
Yeah. So realistically, that's what this is. Who could you see really coming in January? Honestly, realistically, none of these players.
Realistically, none of them, but
Yeah.
I could see Mainu just because of the drama that
Yeah.
he's dealing with.
Do you think
But
it'd be a loan deal? Like we could just get a little quick January loan, or would it be a full transfer? Like he's got to come blue.
I think some sort of loan deal.
Yeah.
Like even with Mason Mount there, we saw in whatever they won that they actually still ended up having to pay us money.
Yeah.
So I think I think maybe something like that. But realistically,
Nobody's coming in January.
no, just because, I mean, we do have the depth on our bench, and I think we have to use what we have.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it's still worthwhile to shout out that we have Nicholas Jackson on loan.
Mhm.
We have Aaron Anselmino, who we're hoping, develops into a player. We have Axel Dizazi and Raheem Sterling still on our books. Don't forget
Our
about
guy,
them.
Raheem don't even got Chelsea in the bio. Bro's moving different. He's doing different things.
He's somewhere in London, just waiting for someone to pick him up. I think MK Dons is looking for a good veteran, bro. Like maybe you should go there. Maybe, or MLS is calling. I don't know, but we gotta offload him. All right, let's move on.
Okay,
Chelsea now we're winning games.
Mhm.
We've got now 2 again in a row. We're getting back to our winning form. You posed this question, like, how do we keep winning?
Less changes. Less changes and sticking with what works. So now I'm starting to buy in a little bit about this Gusto being inverted, playing some of those passes. I'm starting to buy in on that.
Yeah.
Less changes.
Yeah.
Meaning we don't have to play Tosin. Don't play Tosin or Batty as shield. If we don't have to play Santos starting, don't play him.
Yeah.
If we can keep our starting wingers, let's keep our starting wingers.
I'm with you on that. We don't need to rotate that much. I know we're in a lot of competitions, but we don't, like, especially our center back pairing.
Yes.
It should be Fofana and Chalobah and then Josh coming in and hell. And I know Josh is coming in on the right back as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's really like for like in the sense of like, okay, if we are going to rotate, we're going to rotate based on their actual position. So if we're going to rotate right back, let's put Gusto or let's put James.
Yeah.
But what we're not going to do is put Chalobah.
Right. Never again do I want to see Chalobah at right back.
So I think that I think it's simple.
Yeah.
I think it's simple.
Yeah.
Don't overplay these tactics and don't make unnecessary changes.
Yeah.
If Cole can only play the 60 minutes, have him start the first 60 minutes.
Right.
Players like Neto are just fit. Neto's ridiculously fit.
Yeah.
Have him play.
Let him play.
We know Garnacho is either scoring opportunities or making a ton of big opportunities. Let him play. One of them will go in. So I think that's really what it is like, okay, now that we've won, let's just stop overcomplicating things.
Stick with it. Let's stick with it. We have our team. It looks okay. It's not bad.
Mm-hmm.
We want to get João Pedro in form. Like, keep these players on the field so they can get some kind of chemistry together. I'm with you on that. 100%.
Yeah. So I think that's really what it is. And the tactics, that inverted style. Okay, let's not do it all over the field. I understand that.
Speaking of inverted style, we see that all of this kind of over tacticianing is coming from one main source. The main over tactician, Pep Guardiola, has announced that he'd be leaving City at the end of this year, and we've just seen reports that came out saying that Maresca is one of City's #1 main targets to replace him. How do you feel about this? Knowing what we know about you, which is Maresca is not an absolute necessary for you on this squad, but how do how would you feel?
I saw a comment which really I liked. I don't think I'm gonna get it quoted right, but it was saying that like football's really gone downhill if Maresca is City's top pick.
I don't know. Maresca's done a lot in his 2 years at Chelsea.
No, I know, but
yeah,
just being like an average manager.
Yeah, he hasn't won. I mean, again, 2 trophies, but nothing of significance.
Yeah,
but
I don't know. But I also I heard this morning that Maresca has no plans to go. That is just speculation.
Contract until 2029. Like, we're here. That's my Maresca. We have contract. I just have.
Yeah. Right. I'm happy.
I'm happy here. Not with the board. Not for the last 48 hours. But
which I also want to talk about because I thought that was rather dumb. Especially, it's like we just saw Mo Salah come out when he shouldn't have,
Right.
and said things he shouldn't have said.
Come on,
And it
bro.
was obvious. So
Come
I
on.
thought Maresca saying that and the timing of that, I'm like, you know right away how this is going to be painted.
Yeah.
You know right away when you say that, how every news story is going to come out, what
Yeah.
they're going to say. People are going to be like, oh, this is his last year here, this is that. And then flip it and say, no, I'm good. Yes, those last 48 hours probably were the worst you had because we saw things that just didn't make sense.
Right.
We saw you rotate people that costed us the game.
Yeah. They're probably, well, I did see something, and I don't know, you can tell me if you've heard it as well, but I saw something that came out that said Maresca does get a per game assessment from the board. So like somebody comes down and actually like gives him an assessment of what they thought he played. Yeah, and that is crazy. If that's the fact of the matter, that is crazy, but it must be something he's dealt with all year. So whatever that last 48-hour comment was maybe just a little bit of a harsh assessment after losing to Leeds. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Also, like just some reflection, like that doesn't have to go to the media. Yeah, it was a poor game. You know that.
Yeah.
And for the most part, he takes accountability for that. So I just thought that was like, this was your worst 48 hours.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Not Frosty joining us. Appreciate you joining us. He said, would we start Reese in the midfield or right back tomorrow? We're gonna get into that. Let's finish off with this Maresca at Pep thing, and we're gonna get into our lineup and everything.
And also, it's important to note. I didn't include the other teams within this, but we've dropped 10 points from winning positions this season. We've dropped 10 points because of that. So we've been in a winning position, and
Alexis with the stats, like yikes.
You know I know.
We've been leading in games at least 10 times and drop points.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I think it's fair to say that a lot of these have been because of substitutions.
Yeah.
So
definitely. Even though I consider Maresca more of a second half coach. Like I do think
halftime
he figures something out.
Team too.
Right.
Which I don't, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But still, even in those second halves, if we don't get it right, we might be leading like we were against Leeds and then drop it, you know? Yeah. As far as managers, if Maresca were to leave, we have a short list of managers that have been in thought of who could replace us. We have Liam from Strasbourg. We have Cesc from Como. We have obviously the Bournemouth coach and the Crystal Palace coach, Oliver Glasner. Quick question for those. Who would you want to replace Maresca? And this is why this contributes to my argument about Maresca. It's kind of like, I really can't see anybody else managing Chelsea. Oliver Glasner has done a great job with Crystal Palace.
You know who I would like?
Don't say Frank Lampard. Don't say Frank.
No, which is crazy for me to want this person, but it would probably never happen.
Ooh.
I want Mikel Arteta.
Wow.
Isn't that
we were just talking about over tacticianing, and you would want Mikel Arteta to coach Chelsea?
I like his arrogance. I think for me, I need a level of arrogance and confidence in your team that it's so here.
Alexis. Arrogance without wins is delusion. So you like his delusion. That's great. But he ain't got no trophies to back up that arrogance. So it's just, but I hear you. I hear you. He's put together, he's built a really good team. In the modern football world, I think it's unfortunate because we just want things instant gratification.
I know.
But yeah, back in the Wenger days and back in the days, even the early Pep stages of City where they would give managers time, he's done his thing at Arsenal. And I don't know, it's time still to tell to see whether they'll reap the fruits of his labor. But I don't know. We want win now type coaches. I would be more of a, and I'm going to go ahead and choose this myself. I'd be more of a Cesc Fabregas fan. I would want to see, I think Cesc has had some time to actually coach multiple teams. He's coached at Monaco, now coaching at Como. I like the way he talks in interviews. He talks about absorbing tactics over the years and things like that. seeing how Xabi Alonso is doing at Real Madrid kind of gives me a little pause about that.
Right.
I don't know, like maybe this is too much, but I don't know. I think people would listen to Cess, especially at Chelsea. That's my only one. Terminator says Iraola, where he has been doing his thing in Bournemouth.
He's been fine.
Yeah, he's been fine.
Yeah.
He's been fine. Let's move on. We got Newcastle tomorrow. We are coming to the end of this, and big game, to be honest. Newcastle is not doing so well this year, but you know, they ain't no slight work. We gotta come out.
You ready for some facts?
Ooh, give me some facts.
Okay. And I'd also love to hear, because I know you went to St. James Park, so I'd love to hear about that as well.
Yeah.
But the last time we won at Newcastle was October 2021. 3-0. So that has to attest to St. James Park environment, which I've heard things about. So I would love to hear, like, what is it like?
For those who haven't seen it, definitely go on the YouTube channel. I have a whole vlog up on it. That is by far, Alexis, the loudest and the livest football stadium I've been in around the world. And I'm talking about within any environment. It is the entire collective of 30,000, 40,000 fans screaming in unison. The second one person chants, and it doesn't matter where they are. They don't seem to have like a real leader, even though they do have this big wall. Yeah. But you just hear something and suddenly the whole crowd. So I was there when they smashed PSG when they entered the Champions League for their first time in 20 years. And it's a raucous environment. Definitely one of the best around. So it is going to be a tough environment for sure. And the way Newcastle is playing this year, they need this win. So this is big.
And our last 4 trips, we've only scored once.
Yikes.
Our last 8 games, but yeah. Aside from this, our last 8 games that have been played at a 12:30 on Saturday, we have won.
Okay, now you're starting to sound like, do you work for ESPN? What in the world is that stat? What? Okay, I feel you. So,
this might be our 9th game won on a Saturday at 12:30. Time makes a difference, guys.
Time is big. Big. A little late game.
Are you a morning game or a night game person?
I'm a night game all the way. It's just something about it. Something about breathing and seeing your breath. Even on a hot day, you can kind of see your breath in the lights, and I'm a night game person all the way. Okay. That's maybe me as playing. If I'm watching a game, if I'm watching a game, I think I want a night game too, because we're on the West Coast, and that becomes.
What was so interesting for me when I was at the Bridge, it was like an 8 p.m. game. I'm like, people are like sleep at this time. 8 p.m.
Right.
I was like, oh, these people are out here. Ends at like 10:30. I'm like, oh my gosh, wow.
We outside. Outside.
Yeah, we are outside.
Yeah, outside in the darkness. Well, Newcastle, they tied Tottenham. They beat Burnley. They tied Leverkusen, lost to Sunderland.
Sunderland is serious.
Sunderland is balling this year.
They are serious, which that's a whole rivalry in itself.
Yeah.
And just the scenes at Sunderland, that was so cool to see.
Yeah.
It's so cool to see that, like, even these teams that like weren't in the Premier League, like they still have huge fan bases, huge stadiums. It's crazy.
For Sunderland to be doing what they're doing again after just getting promoted and doing their thing, like, yeah, it's crazy. It's unprecedented. They're doing a great job. So defensively, obviously they got their kind of back line. They got the Livramentos, the Dan Burns, the Lewis Mileys of it all. Let's get into it.
Overall, Bruno Guimaraes is their top threat.
Bruno is a threat. So we're going to have to win the midfield battle, and we do have Moyes back in the midfield, prepared for this game. So
the good news is Newcastle has hit the woodwork the most this season. So that's the good news.
Yo, where are you digging this stuff up? I swear. That's hilarious. All right, well, center backs who will be likely fighting against, I think their big guy, the big striker, Woltemade. Yeah, I'm not sure if he's injured. I didn't see him last game. Let me double check.
No, he did play last game because he got the own goal.
Oh yeah, he got that own goal, that header. That's right. Woltemade.
Dang, I know.
Yeah. So to go up against the Jacob Murphys, the Aaron Gordon, the Anthony Gordons of the world. Okay, Chalobah Fofana. Let's keep it
Let's
consistent.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. Chalobah Fofana. All right, we're building our starting lineup, guys. Again, if you want to participate, go ahead and type in the code minty.com. You can tap in with us. We're gonna roll through this pretty quickly. We got our center backs. I'm good with that center back pairing. We typically skip the wing backs because I'm sure between Reece James and Cucurella and Malagusto, we want to play. But this brings up the interesting center midfield discussion. Oh, for some reason Caicedo is not in there, which he should be. But I'm curious, Caicedo and Enzo, are we just going with our keep it consistent, or do we do Reece James?
Enzo didn't even have to play the last game.
Enzo didn't play last game.
Then we probably
wait. No, yeah. Santa, yeah, the Cardiff game.
I mean, if he got that full rest, then what? He hasn't played in a week. That seems like plenty of time to be fit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should be plenty of time.
So you're gonna go with Enzo and Reece?
No, Enzo and Moy.
Enzo and Moy.
Which is where things get so tricky because again, I really do like Reece there, but it's like, okay, now we have an issue of all these CDMs, you know?
Right.
Because
again, it's like this ain't your position, bruh. Like
I can't see Maresca benching Gusto after he's in very good form right now. I just can't see him benching Gusto.
Yeah. So you don't think Reece starts? Is that what we're saying?
No, I do think Reece starts. I'm just confused what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because now that Caicedo's back, and I'm sure, and to be fair, I'm sure Maresca is like this too. Like, I'm sure he's like, what do I do with this? You've got Enzo, who really hasn't been in good form, but they don't seem to ever not play him. I mean, he is just
he's always on the field, even when it doesn't make sense. But again, Reece actually performed so far in this midfield. I haven't seen Reece put in a bad performance.
I can't see him not playing Gusto, who's just been in really good form.
Yeah.
So maybe Enzo won't start for more rest.
Reece fan back in the building again. Formerly Reece James hater, now Reece fan has tapped in. He says Caicedo and Reece, which that's an interesting one. I think I'd be okay if would you? All right. So again, we've talked about trying to stay uniform and actually be consistent. But would you be fine to see a Reece and Caicedo center midfield pairing, especially to cancel out Bruno Guimaraes and Ramsey and them boys?
I'm okay with that because the reality of it is Reece James is a better ball striker. He can hit the ball better than Enzo Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez probably sees more of those deep passes just because that is his only position. That's his main position. It's tricky. I don't think Enzo's in form. So it's like maybe we're not playing him.
Yeah.
But okay, then if Reece plays right back, I feel like Gusto's earn some playing time right now, to be honest.
Yeah. Maybe Gusto comes off the bench. I'm really curious what.
Yeah.
That one's a tough one. Like when we talk about
had Palmer have played more games right now, then I could see Palmer actually going out on the right and then Enzo being up top. But Palmer hasn't played much right now, so I just don't see that happening.
That's a good shout, though. Palmer on the left and Esteval, while Esteval's out hurt as well. Throw Neto, but in some ways I do see Neto and
I think tomorrow we might get a little bit surprised. We might.
Yeah. That's why we got starter bench. We got so many options here, and that's a tough one. Like, do we let Reece leave the midfield after he's played so well? What does that mean if Enzo doesn't start in an actually very pivotal game? 10s, yeah, number 10s. For lack of that option that you're talking about, because I actually I'm not deterred from seeing maybe a Cole on the left and an Enzo in the 10 and seeing what that could look like. But I want Cole to just be Cole.
Exactly. But because Neto and Garnacho have been our best attackers, creating the most opportunities, it just doesn't really make sense to put him out there when we could have Cole in the middle.
Yeah. Reece hater. I'm sorry, Reece fan, but still a hater. Throwing in, it's tricky because they're all equally mid.
We
love the banter.
I read that at first. I read that comment like, oh, they're all equally in the mid. But then he posted they're equally mid. I'm like, dang.
We'll keep it going. All right. I think Cole Palmer at the 10 is beautiful. Which brings us to our left wing. Like if and this basically will dictate our right wing as well. Like if we start Garnacho, then we're starting Neto on the right, and I'm not mad at that. Garnacho's in form. He scored his goal.
Yeah.
Maybe Garnacho deserves to start on the left wing, and it seems like if that is you who has voted, then that's where your head's at. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think if we keep Enzo in the midfield and we keep Reese right back, Malo Gusto maybe will come on after a certain period, but then we start with these attackers who've done well. And would you say our most productive wingers on our team? And Garnacho and Pedro Neto. So
the facts are Neto has been involved in more Premier League goals than any
other player in this. Okay,
those are the facts. And then Garnacho, I guess you could say that's an opinion if you're gonna say he's one of our best attackers because João has equal stats with him.
Yeah,
but I'm looking at like overall chances created, to be honest.
Garnacho in December. And I wish I had looked this up. Maybe I can't. Nah, I'm not even going to do that. But where are you in terms of him versus Jadon Sancho last year in December? Are you?
I would have to match the stat, but it does seem like he's providing more.
It feels like it, right?
But if I'm being honest, I think Sancho last year, it was the game against Ipswich. He had a goal. I don't know if he only ended the season with 2 goals total. I'll have to check that. But if he did, then Garnacho has surpassed him or is level with him.
Yeah.
I think he's providing more than Sancho because Sancho played more of like a Gitten style without end product. Garnacho's style is not the same as Sancho. Garnacho's more direct versus Sancho was a little bit more jinky, technical.
Yeah. Sancho is like a Gittins and Garnacho combination. Yeah. It's like, all right, you're showing us something, you're beating players, but maybe the end product is not as much. Maybe we'll do a comparison for next week's show, but I'm with you. I think I like what I see out of Garnacho. So it's a fair trade to me, at least, if not Garnacho being an upgrade.
Yeah.
Reese fan said, you can't say Garna's good in 2026. We can say it, bro. He's got a goal. He's leading us.
Can't say that right now.
Yeah. Which leads us to striker. And I feel like there's really only one true option against a tough team like Newcastle at St. James Park. João Pedro. Yeah, that's where we're at, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, João Pedro needs to be a striker and do his thing. Cole Palmer is coming back into form. I'm expecting him to do really well. Garnacho and Neto, continue to do your things. Again, you're the most productive players on our team and by way of GA. So that's what we do. What's your prediction? Give us the score.
2-1.
2-1.
Us.
That's tight.
Always us.
So you did 2-1 for the Everton game, and I'm curious, like in our center backs or in Rob Sanchez, you don't trust? You don't think we're gonna keep getting these clean sheets? We second most clean sheets.
I was really surprised, honestly, when I saw our clean sheet stat. If I'm being honest, because like I can tell you, I think in both games there were times that it hit off the post and we got a little bit lucky.
Yeah. No, Bob Sanchez has had some luck. Even against Cardiff, we had some luck. Well, that wasn't Bob Sanchez, but yeah.
But I think now that we're starting to see a little bit of chemistry, this could be a different story. Now that we're actually seeing the same pairings in center backs.
So the theme of tomorrow is chemistry. We're just trying to build on what we had for versus Everton.
I would say chemistry and consistency.
Chemistry and consistency.
What lineup are you going to put out, Maresca, so that we can start to believe in these pairings around the field?
We need to believe in these pairings. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, we definitely want to see something along the lines of what we saw against Everton, and that Trevor and Fofana starting. Mm-hmm. Definitely, that midfield one is tricky. So I'm curious and excited to see it myself what we end up with. But definitely João Pedro up top, Cole in the middle, flanked by Neto and Garnacho, and that's the way we need to be moving forward.
Yep.
Yeah, João Pedro. All right. Tomorrow it is. For anybody watching, I'm going to be doing a watch party, so you can go and tap in with me. It's tomorrow at 12:30. Is that what we said? Tomorrow
At 4:30 a.m.
4:30 a.m. It's a 12:30.
Okay.
We're going to be up early.
Okay.
I'm going to have one eye open trying to watch this game. So make sure to tap in. We'll take a look at the lineups. And again, follow us on Instagram, Starter Bench CFC. That's where you can find us. And you'll hear all of our thoughts. Definitely check our stories on that. Otherwise, come on, you Blues. Another big day tomorrow.
Yes, guys. Thanks for tapping in.
Thanks for tapping in. We will see you next week. Starter Bench Fridays at 11 Pacific. Tap in and tell us who should start and who should be benched. We'll see you.